For the People with Lou Ismay.
Hi. I have some thoughts. Wonder what you think about them. I understand that we all have a period of time that our brains mature. We have a rate of maturity in the front lobal section, which is where we think about the effects of what we do. Until that part of our brain is mature, we have no concept of thinking ahead. Now, my words may not be exact, but you can Google it and find out for yourself. The rate of development with women starts, it was pretty well going on during their 20s. Until that time, they do not have the capacity to think far enough ahead about the effects of what they do. Now, men mature at a later age, more into their 30s, and even could be into their very early 40s. Then, 1 years ago, when the life insurance companies were recruiting, the first things that the recruiter would mention was at or about age 35. Men begin to think of their future at or about age 35. Men begin to think about their future. Now, if there is any truth in the age difference of the development of the frontal lobe, then should we be thinking about something? Why would we elect people to important public offices if they aren't capable of thinking far enough ahead into what they do? Does that mean that we should only elect intelligent, well-organized women for public office and not entrust the men until after their front lobar systems mature? Now, it may sound silly, but it may also sound sensible. Why think about something like that? What about the situation in which we find ourselves now? All kinds of situations that indicate a society in deep trouble. Situation that's in the news now. Asians attacking them, mainly women. What's going on? The deep hatred of some of the men's group. Violence. There is even a report of one senator who does not believe that the riot at the Capitol a month or so ago was serious. These were loyal, law-abiding people expressing themselves. You would be concerned only if they were people of color. Are we thinking about these various things? Are we thinking that we should be working together? What is going on? We have some ideas. What should we do? Can we discuss them among ourselves? Can we seek some answers? what is going on. And does this indicate that we should have a cultural change? A cultural change. The way we live, the way we work together, raise our children differently. You know, there was a story years ago that some native people were talking to the fetuses during their pregnancy. And the children seemed to benefit. They just acted differently as youngsters. Now, of course, there's a cultural situation there. But what if there's some truth in it? What shall we do? How do we change our ways? Not only is it for our society, for our democracy, but also for our planet. Now, it seems sometimes, if we think about it, that we impose on one another. We almost automatically put our thoughts to injecting people into various situations. We exploit others. We exploit the planet. Do we realize that? What is going on is always in the backs of our minds, hopefully. What do we do to change? What do we do to become better? How do we do things without damaging one another? Now, in the health industry, medicine, there's a motto: do no harm. 3 words: do no harm. Can we apply those 3 words to our lives and the planet? Do no harm. There are other things that can be expressed very simply. No difficulty. Every single major religion in the world has a motto, no matter what language or selection of words. The same thing applies. How do we treat others? How many words are those? How do we treat others? Do no harm. If we look at other areas, the Scout Law, truthfulness comes first. Honesty, all these words that are important in our lives, there are only about a dozen of them. Can we be thinking about some of these things? On my honor, I will do my best, do my duty to my God and my country, and to help other people at all times. And it goes on very simply. Do we think about these things? Some of us are educators. How do we get other young people to understand some of these things? We're parents. We're grandparents. There's enough to think about, isn't there? Well, we have some other things to talk about someday. We'll get back to them. We'll leave you, though, with just one thought. The U.S. Marine Corps, every single recruit learns some things. The first 2 words they learn are justice and judgment. Two clear qualities for leadership. Justice and judgment. There are others very important, but think about that. If we treated one another with justice and judgment, could we have peace? We couldn't have peace without justice, could we? There's lots of questions. But it's time to go on to other things. We'll come back. Hopefully we're thinking about the future, how to deal with things, and do it with simplicity and honesty and integrity, and the word justice and judgment clearly in our minds. And by the way, talking about the Marine Corps, have you ever heard of General Smedley Butler? U.S. Marine Corps, back in the 1920s or 30s, a man of great integrity, a man who set the samples for all of us, or should set the samples for us. Smedley Butler, one of the most important people ever in the world, the way he conducted himself, and the effects he had on the Corps. And by the way, one more thing, the only Marine to earn the Medal of Honor twice. And there was another instance during those periods where an enlisted Army, non-commissioned officer, earned the Medal of Honor twice. Just a little bit of history. Be together next time. Signing off.